Welcome back, everybody. It is Monday with Art, Ladle, and Spade. This is Leslie here, and you are looking at my hard border that I'm creating after I remove the rocks from this area. And I moved the rocks again to create the third rock garden in the back and to have this look cleaner in the front yard. I felt like these two areas, it was difficult to keep the weeds out and keep it looking nice, and then I need to expand it a bit because I've got a lot of perennials in here that are getting way larger than I had anticipated. So my liriope here, I'm going to split these into either 3 or 4 with each one. I've got plenty, and I'm going to try to do the entire border of this island. However, I'm going to start with the front, therefore if I don't have enough to do the back, it will be okay. And I'm going to pull up this yucca or yucca plant. And I realized today my bearded iris fell over. It is so heavy with blooms that it fell. And so I need to stake this up. But it's so beautiful, and I was able to get rid of the bugs that were on there. So again, I'm going to be digging out a lot of the yucca plants and taking those to the backyard. There's a sunny spot in the backyard that I will put those in. And I'm going to be moving out, spreading out some of the perennials in here. So this is a mom, and I'm going to go ahead and dig this one up and move it further out to the border. And there's a couple of other ones in here. I'm still deciding on which ones, but I'm definitely going to move probably 3 or 4 perennials and just move them further out. I am thinking about going ahead and putting my crinum lilies all back here in this area and letting them do their thing. They have a tendency to get really big and take over. So I think I might move this one here. I think this is a phlox. And I believe that is a mum as well. I'm going to dig those out of here and go ahead and put all of my crinums here. And then I'm going to go ahead and get up all of this fabric. And I will say this is probably the thickest fabric that I've used in any of my gardens. And it's the worst. It's not letting any air get through. Any of my self-seeding perennials are not spreading. However, I'm looking, once I pull up some of the fabric, I'm seeing them spread underground. So I know you all have seen videos stating not to use fabric. Please don't use fabric. I started off using cardboard, trying to do the sheet mulching method, but I did not do it correctly because I used pine bark instead of mulch. And you have to use mulch, and you have to layer it multiple times in order to keep the weeds down. It is much healthier for the life of your plants and for the soil. The fabric just causes a lot of issues. So I've learned the hard way. So I will definitely be pulling up the fabric in this area. And I think my plants, even though they look like they're doing well, I think in the long run, they're going to do even better. So this is the area with all of my yucca. This one has probably grown maybe 1.5 feet since I put it in here. I didn't purchase this. I dug this up from a lady's yard who she gave them away, and I'm not going to say I can see why, but I can definitely see how these can be very invasive and take over. So I'm going to be digging out some of these. And that's it for today. I'm finished for the day. I have clients that I have to see this afternoon, and I will get a chance to get out here tomorrow and I believe I'll be able to finish this because I finished the edging. I started the edging today, and I got 50% through it. So I think I'm going to be able to go ahead and get this done. So I will see you all tomorrow. Hi everybody, this is Leslie with Art, Ladle, and Spade, and you are looking at the completely edged out border for the rock garden where I've removed the rocks in order to use them in the backyard. And then I have gone ahead and I have spray painted for the liriope to be transplanted, and you see these little black marks. So I have measured 3 inches a piece for each of the liriope, and I'm actually not going to put any back here because the space is too narrow. So I've got all of this mapped out, and then tomorrow I'm going to go ahead and dig up the 2 yucca slash yucca plants, and actually probably 3. Definitely this one here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one out of here, and probably this one here. So maybe 2 here, and then I'm going to go ahead and dig out all 3 of these here. And I'm going to go ahead and allow these canna lilies to take off. I'm thinking maybe part of the issue, maybe the canna lilies are competing with the yucca roots. These roots are really intense for both plants. And so I'm going to go ahead and dig up this entire batch here, and these will go on the island in the backyard. And then over here, I'm going to go ahead and dig out the largest of the 2 yucca plants here to give my bearded iris some room to breathe. And I think there's a couple of perennials that I'll move around in here, maybe just further out to the border since there's going to be some space. And I think I am going to go ahead and put all of my crinum lilies in the same area. So I have 2, actually 3 there. And then I have 2, 3, 4 here, and 1 up in the front. So I'm going to go ahead and move all of my crinum lilies into one area. So I think what I may do is I'll go ahead and move all of my crinum lilies either back here or on the outskirts of the back part of the border, only because the crinum lilies get really big, and I know they can also be very invasive. And so I'm going to go ahead and put all the crinum lilies, and they really have a huge impact once they do bloom. But again, they multiply very quickly, so you have to be very careful with crinum lilies. But this is what it looks like so far, and we are still waiting on the backyard to be regraded. Therefore, my work has stopped in the backyard, but my work will continue in the front. And I'm going to walk you up to the front porch area where we removed several azalea bushes. And I'm going to go ahead and start my shade garden here. So here we have, these are lilies, a lot of lilies here. And these may be, yeah, I think these are lilies here. And I'm not sure what this is, but it comes back every year and it's really pretty. And then we have a balloon flower. The balloon flower is here. It's kind of taking off pretty slow this year, but those have really, really pretty blue blooms. But all of the spots here where you see mounds of dirt, those are where the roots were for the azalea bushes. And we pulled out all of the azalea bushes. I wanted perennials here, and I'm also going to go ahead and try my hand at putting hostas in the front yard. And I am going to go ahead and put my, let's see, my astilbe, if it will survive. If not, then I'll go ahead and get some astilbe here, and I'll get some ferns out here. But I really want perennials. A long time ago, the idea for your front yard was to cover the foundation of the house, and I think that's old, and I want color out here. So a lot of hostas, variegated hostas, blue hostas, and I'm also going to move my 2 of my Japanese laurel that are down by in one of my islands, and then I'm going to purchase some more Japanese laurel for the back. So and then I'm going to also, I decided my Ryusen Japanese maple that I purchased for the backyard, I want to put here in this corner. This is part shade, and it is morning sun, afternoon shade, but it really does get a lot of shade. So I think that Japanese maple is going to look really pretty here, and I may get another Japanese maple for this area here. But this is a lot of shade in this area, and I want a lot of color. I want a lot of height. It's up on a hill off of the street, so I want a big impact. And then I'll go ahead and clean off my front porch and put my spring decor out. Usually I wait until the last week of April, first week of May, because the pollen here is so bad, and I have to scrub down all of the furniture and then clean out all of these are faux ferns, and I can't remember what the drooping, but I have to clean all of this pretty intensely. And so I'll go ahead and wait so I don't have to do it twice. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done over the weekend, and then we're going to go ahead and get this area planted out. Now this may take a couple of weekends. This was not necessarily planned to do right now, but since we're on hold for the backyard, I'm going to go ahead and get this taken care of. But for the most part, the front yard is done. I'm just going to finish out this island over here and go ahead and do this front porch area, and then we're finished in the front yard. I'll take you over to the back to show you what's going on, show you some of my frustrations going on in the back. I'll be back. Okay, welcome back everybody to Art Ladle and Spade. I wanted to come in the backyard and show you why I'm frustrated. This is my astilbe. This has been out on the table. I think this is completely gone at this point. This one seems to be holding on, but my frustration is these are part shade, full shade plants, and they are out here in part shade, and I moved them to full shade. I've moved them to morning sun, afternoon shade. I have done all that I can possibly imagine to keep this astilbe alive, and it's been very frustrating. But the funny part is, I believe I showed you earlier in the week, over the weekend, that a lot of my seeds that are soil that I used from seedlings that didn't sprout, I reused this soil and now they're sprouting, and I have them, they're coming up everywhere. So I don't know if they just weren't ready to come up. But now I've got my seedlings that were supposed to be coming up. These are all lupins, so thank goodness I recognize what they are. And then my hyacinth actually bloomed in the container, which I thought was hilarious, and it's really tiny. But I've got a lot of my seeds from the soil that I reuse that are now sprouting all over the place. And here's in a pot. There's some here. There's some here. I've got some in my garden. Let me walk over to my garden. I saw this. Where's it at? This afternoon, I was over here and I was like, what? But now, of course, I can't find it. But I've got seedlings, again, from soil that I reuse that are now coming up in my gardens. So it's going to be very interesting to see all of my flowers that are going to be blooming. But I did want to show you that I did pull up these are my blazing star from bulbs and my crocosmia. I had this in the front yard. It doesn't seem to be doing well in the island. There it is up front. It struggles. It seems to have good days and bad days out here in my island. But then I went ahead and pulled the ones that I put in the front garden, where I just edged out the new border, and they weren't making it. So my hope is I pull them up soon enough. They still look pretty bad. This one looks strong. This was completely lying down yesterday, but my hope is I pull them out soon enough so that they'll survive. And then I've just got to figure out where to put them. All of our blazing star in the front yard are in full blazing hot sun all summer, and they do beautifully. So I don't know what's the difference with me. Maybe it's just simply comes down to the ones that grow in the house are not as strong. And so we'll see how this goes. But I did want to show you my frustration with this crocosmia and my blazing star. I'm still looking around for my seedling that I saw sprout, but I can't find it. But anyway, this is what's going on today. I'll pop back in tomorrow. There should be a lot of progress tomorrow. Tomorrow. I have some time tomorrow afternoon that I'll be able to come out and work in the yard. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining.